What if one of the biggest risks in your home was hiding in a place you use every single day, your laundry room?
It is, it's a weird thought, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the laundry room is fundamentally this place we associate with cleanliness.
Right. Yeah.
It's all about, soap, water, fresh scents. We certainly don't walk in there expecting some kind of hidden hazard.
No, not at all. And I think most of you listening right now, especially, if you're living in or around the Atlanta area, you're probably just like me.
Oh, absolutely.
You just throw your clothes in the drum, you press start, and you literally walk away.
Yeah.
The dryer is essentially invisible to us.
Yeah, until something goes wrong.
Exactly, until your favorite jeans are suddenly taking like 3 full cycles to dry, or you notice your energy bills inexplicably creeping up, or, in the absolute worst case scenario, a serious safety issue suddenly becomes very real.
Which is exactly why we are looking at this today. When we were pulling the fire safety statistics and the engineering reports for this deep dive, the data was honestly pretty eye-opening.
Super eye-opening.
Yeah, because a mundane, boring appliance can quietly morph into one of the most costly and dangerous problems in a house.
Yeah.
And it's all because of something as seemingly harmless as lint.
Right. And today's mission is to figure out the actual science of how that happens. We're going to look at, the mechanics of airflow, why your house might be at a higher risk than you think, and most importantly, how to actually solve it.
Which is the critical part.
It is. And to guide us through the practical side of that solution, we are going to be talking about the incredible work done by our sponsor for today's deep dive, Metro Duct Cleaning LLC.
This is great.
They really are. They provide professional residential and commercial air duct cleaning services, dryer vent cleaning, and even carpet cleaning right in Atlanta and the surrounding areas. So we'll be digging into how they apply the exact science we're discussing to protect homes.
And we really do need to start with the science because there is a massive misconception about how a dryer actually functions.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because I'm reading through these safety reports on residential fires, and my immediate reaction is just, wait, doesn't the lint trap catch all of this stuff?
It's the logical assumption, right?
Right. I mean, every time I do a load of laundry, I pull out that little plastic screen, I wipe away that thick gray fuzz, and I throw it in the trash. I feel like I'm doing my part. So if I'm doing that, why is the vent itself such a huge deal?
What's fascinating here is that it makes total sense that you'd think that.
Yeah.
The lint screen gives us a very visual, tangible sense of security.
Yeah, you see the fuzz, you remove the fuzz.
Exactly. Problem solved, supposedly.
Yeah.
But let's think about it mechanically for a second. Imagine a coffee filter.
Okay, a coffee filter.
Right. Even if you buy the absolute best premium paper filter for your morning coffee, it still lets microscopic coffee grounds through.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And over the course of making, hundreds of pots of coffee, the bottom of your glass carafe gets that dark, sludgy buildup.
Yeah, you have to scrub it out eventually.
Precisely. Your lint screens that coffee filter, and your exhaust vent line is the bottom of the pot. A dryer screen simply cannot catch everything. Every single time you dry a load, tiny microscopic clothing fibers, dust particles, and debris bypass that screen.
So it's essentially like a slow drip, load after load, week after week, these tiny particles escape.
Exactly.
But if the dryer is blowing air out forcefully, why doesn't that exhaust air just carry those tiny particles all the way outside?
And that brings us to the thermodynamics, right?
Yeah.
And the physics of the ductwork itself.
Right.
Remember what a dryer is fundamentally trying to do. It's inducing a phase change.
Okay.
It's using heat to turn the liquid water trapped in your wet clothes into vapor, and then using a fan to push that hot, incredibly humid air out of your house.
Makes sense.
But the inside of an exhaust pipe isn't perfectly smooth. There are ridges, there are bends, joints.
And I imagine the humidity plays a huge role here, especially for folks listening in Atlanta where the ambient air is already just thick.
Oh, it is a huge compounding factor.
Ah.
You have highly textured microscopic fibers mixing with intense moisture. As they travel through the duct, friction causes them to stick to the walls.
Oh, like wet paper mache.
Yes, particularly at any elbows or bends in the pipe. They stick, they dry, and then they act like a net for the next batch of lint.
Wow.
It builds layer upon layer upon layer, and this triggers a very predictable, incredibly dangerous domino effect.
Walk me through the physics of that domino effect. Like, what is actually happening to the machine at that point?
So as that lint builds up on the walls of the vent, it physically narrows the diameter of the pipe. It creates a chokehold. The dryer is designed to push a specific volume of air out per minute. When you restrict that space, the air pressure backs up.
Because it literally has nowhere to go.
Right. The hot, moist air cannot escape efficiently.
Yeah.
So the dryer's internal thermostat realizes the clothes are still wet,
Mhm.
and it keeps running. It forces the heating element in the blower motor to work twice as hard for twice as long.
It's essentially a blocked artery. Like your heart, the dryer's motor, has to pump furiously against high blood pressure just to keep the circulation going.
That is a brilliant way to visualize it.
Yeah.
And just like a blocked artery, that systemic stress causes catastrophic failure. The internal components of the dryer are suddenly subjected to intense heat for prolonged periods without proper ventilation.
Oh, so that's why the machine just gives out.
Yeah, this is exactly why you see those massive spikes in your energy bills. The machine is burning electricity to fight a losing battle, and it's why a $1,000 appliance might burn out its motor years before its lifespan is up.
But, the dead appliance isn't even the worst part, because as I'm looking at these engineering reports, this is where the real safety hazard comes into play. We're talking about trapping intense heat next to a highly combustible material.
That is the scariest part of the equation, without a doubt. Because
Okay.
what is lint? Fundamentally, it is pure, dry, highly aerated fiber.
Right.
Much of it is cotton, but a lot of it is synthetic too, like polyester, nylon, which are essentially plastics. Lint has an incredibly high surface area to volume ratio, making it the perfect tinder.
Like kindling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you combine severely restricted airflow, intense overheating from an overworked heating element, and a duct packed with this flammable kindling,
Huh.
well, you have engineered the perfect recipe for a house fire.
Wow. It's basically flash paper hiding in your walls. That puts a completely different spin on just casually tossing a load of towels into the dryer and leaving the house to go run errands.
Really does.
It makes you realize that this isn't just a chore, it's a critical safety vulnerability.
Which is why relying on a professional to manage that vulnerability is so vital.
Yeah.
You cannot just hope for the best with these systems.
And that is exactly why we need to talk about the most reliable, top-rated solution for this, especially for our listeners in the Atlanta area. I'm talking about our sponsor. If you are listening to this right now and realizing you haven't thought about the inside of your dryer vent in years, I'm telling you, call the sponsor now, Dryer Vent Cleaning Services in Atlanta, GA. You can reach Metro Duct Cleaning LLC directly at 678-498-7371 or 404-800-1667.
Having a dedicated team that understands the local climate and the specific architectural quirks of homes in that area makes a massive difference.
It really does. And while we've been looking at the dry science and the safety data, looking at local examples of this in action really drives the point home. We actually found some amazing community feedback that perfectly illustrates everything we just talked about.
Other reviews, yeah.
Yeah. There's a local homeowner, James Davis over in Marietta. He noticed his dryer was struggling, realized he was probably out of his depth, and hired Metro Duct Cleaning. They were out there the very next day.
Which is exactly the kind of response time you want when you're dealing with a potential fire hazard.
Absolutely. They got the job done quickly, but James specifically noted that there was a massive, shocking amount of trapped lint pulled out of his system.
I bet.
He said their reasonable rate was more than worth the peace of mind because he looked at the pile of lint and realized it could have easily sparked a fire. He was so convinced by the results that he actually committed to calling them back every 6 months.
That reaction from James is so common. It's this visceral aha moment. You don't truly grasp the physics of the chokehold until you physically see, like, a basketball-sized wad of lint pulled out of a 4-inch pipe.
It's crazy.
It is. And it's also about the thoroughness of the extraction. Another great example from the Atlanta area is a homeowner named Eva Lawrence.
Yes. Eva's situation was fascinating to me because it highlights the difference between a surface-level clean and a deep scientific clean.
Precisely. Because Eva had actually hired other companies in the past, but Metro Duct Cleaning managed to do what no other service in Atlanta had accomplished. They painlessly and thoroughly removed dust and debris that the previous companies had completely missed.
Wow.
She was thrilled not just with how clean the vents finally were, but with the entire process, how easy it was to book, and getting a transparent quote up front.
It proves that the methodology really matters. You want the team that understands the mechanics of the airflow to ensure they actually get it all out. So seriously, do yourself a favor. Call the sponsor now. Dryer Vent Cleaning Services in Atlanta, GA. Grab your phone and dial 678-498-7371 or 404-800-1667. It's just a simple way to protect your home today with Dryer Vent Cleaning Services in Atlanta, GA.
It is arguably the most high-impact, low-effort step you can take to safeguard your house.
But, hearing Eva's story about other companies failing to get the duct totally clean makes me wonder about the actual mechanics of the cleaning process itself.
Okay, sure.
Here's where it gets really interesting for me because I know there's someone listening right now, probably someone quite handy thinking, hey, if the dryer is already blowing air outward, why can't I just run the dryer on high, go outside with my heavy duty shop vac, stick the hose in the exterior vent, and just suck out whatever blows loose?
Yeah, that is a very common, very dangerous, and entirely flawed hypothesis. And it all comes back to the physics of airflow.
Okay, correct me. Why doesn't that work?
Well, first, if you just run the dryer, you are introducing more intense heat to a block, highly flammable system
Right.
while you mess around outside. That is a recipe for disaster.
Oh, right. Good point.
Second, a standard household vacuum or even a powerful shop vac only creates localized suction. It relies on proximity.
Okay.
It might pull the loose lint from the first 2 feet of the pipe, but does absolutely nothing to the dense, baked-on lint clogging the pipe 10 feet deep into your walls. When the technicians from Metro Duct Cleaning arrive, they aren't just vacuuming. They are manipulating the atmospheric pressure of the entire duct system.
Oh, that sounds serious. What do you mean by manipulating atmospheric pressure? Like, where do they even start?
It begins with diagnostics. They conduct a comprehensive, in-depth inspection of the entire vent line before they turn on a single machine. They have to identify the exact concentration of the lint buildup, locate any sharp turns in the architecture of the pipe where airflow restrictions are most severe, and spot any disconnected joints or safety hazards.
Right, because if a pipe is disconnected inside the wall, blowing air through it is just pumping moisture and lint directly into your drywall.
Exactly. You need an accurate diagnosis before you operate. Once they understand the layout, they bring in the heavy artillery. They use specialized negative air machines equipped with HEPA filtration, and this is where your shop vac theory falls apart.
Okay, I'm listening.
They don't just suck air. They effectively turn your entire vent line into a giant sealed vacuum chamber.
A giant vacuum seal. So they are creating negative pressure inside the pipe itself.
Yes, negative pressure means the air pressure inside the duct is lower than the air pressure in the room. Because physics dictates that air flows from high pressure to low pressure, this guarantees that air can only flow one way, which is into their extraction machine.
Ah. So that means not a single speck of dust, mold, or lint can escape backward into your laundry room to contaminate your house.
Exactly. And the HEPA filtration, which stands for high-efficiency particulate air, is critical here. These filters trap 99.97% of particles that are zero point 0.3 microns or larger.
Wow, that's incredibly small.
It is. So as they extract this massive volume of debris, the microscopic allergens aren't just aerosolized and blown around your home.
But wait, if the lint is baked onto the walls of the pipe from the heat and humidity, suction alone isn't going to pull it off.
You're exactly right. Suction isn't enough. That is why they pair the negative pressure with powerful air compressors and specialized physical air agitator.
Steric agitator.
Yeah, these agitators snake all the way through the line, from the back of the dryer entirely to the exterior exit, whether that's routing through your roof or out the side of the house. The agitators physically whip and scrub the inside walls of the ductwork.
Oh, I see.
They break loose the compacted cemented lint, and simultaneously, that massive negative pressure instantly pulls it out of the house.
It's a total system reset. They aren't just clearing a path, they are restoring the pipe to its original smooth diameter.
Correct. And to prove it, they perform a strict post-cleaning inspection. They measure to verify that the optimal airflow has been completely restored. They document everything and provide the homeowner with a clear summary of the work, the findings, and a maintenance schedule.
So what does this all mean for the listener? Ultimately, it means that treating this scientifically rather than as a weekend chore is an incredibly affordable way to protect your biggest investments.
Absolutely.
You prevent a $1,000 appliance from burning up prematurely. You slash your monthly energy bills because your machine is running for 40 minutes instead of 2 hours. You are literally saving money, all while eliminating one of the leading causes of residential fires.
It is an investment that pays immediate performance dividends. But the fascinating thing is, if we connect this to the bigger picture, the exact same physics we just discussed, restricted airflow, trapped contaminants, system strain, they don't just apply to the laundry room. They apply to the rest of your home as well.
Which is wild to think about. Fixing the dryer vent stops the immediate fire hazard, but digging into this research definitely made me look around at the rest of the house, because the dryer is just one localized exhaust pipe. But the house itself has an entire respiratory system built into the walls and ceilings.
Yes. The HVAC air ducts. We really need to look at the whole home indoor environment. Just like the dryer vent, Your main HVAC ducts act as a superhighway for airflow, and they accumulate a staggering amount of material over time.
But instead of clothing lint, what's building up in
And
there?
as a cocktail of indoor pollutants, your main air ducts collect dust, pollen, pet dander, skin cells, and bacteria.
Right.
Remember how we talked about humidity in the dryer vent?
Yeah.
Your AC system deals with this constantly. The evaporator cool the air, which reduces its capacity to hold moisture, leading to condensation.
Oh, I see where this is going. Dust mixes with condensation inside a dark, enclosed space.
Exactly. It creates mud. And mud, in a dark, warm, enclosed environment, is the perfect breeding ground for mold spores and mildew.
That sounds awful.
It is. Just like the clogged dryer vent overworks the dryer motor, these clogged HVAC ducts force your heating and cooling blower motors to work incredibly hard just to push air through the resistance. It kills your HVAC efficiency, shortens the lifespan of a system that costs thousands of dollars to replace, and it can cause severe health issues for the people breathing that air.
That perfectly sets up another amazing example we found while researching local solutions. There's an Atlanta resident, Barbara Burton. She had a situation where every single time she turned on the AC in her home, the entire house suddenly smelled like a damp basement.
Ugh, that distinct mildew smell.
Yes. And it wasn't just a nuisance smell. Her family was actually getting sick. They were having physical allergic reactions to the air circulating in their own living room.
That is a terrifying realization for any homeowner, to feel like your own house is making you ill.
Truly. So she did some investigating, shined a flashlight in, and actually found black mildew growing right on the intake louver of her HVAC system. She immediately called Metro Duct Cleaning.
Smart move.
Yeah, and they responded promptly, came out the exact same day. And using the kind of inspection techniques we talked about, they revealed the full extent of the contamination deep in the system, which she admitted was quite surprising. They eradicated the mildew, fully cleaned the system, and solved the problem completely.
Barbara's story is the perfect illustration of why localized cleaning isn't enough, and why comprehensive solutions matter. This is why Metro Duct Cleaning stands out so prominently in the Atlanta area. They aren't just a company with a vacuum. They have been locally owned since 2008, they are fully insured, Google guaranteed, and they look at the total indoor environment.
Which makes sense. If they are already in your house understanding the physics of your dryer vent, they have the specialized equipment and the expertise to tackle the entire respiratory system of the home.
Exactly. They offer both residential and commercial air duct cleaning, but they go further than just extraction. They offer full deodorizing and sanitization services to actively kill the bacteria and mold spores that thrive in those dark ducts, exactly what Barbara was dealing with. They even offer professional deep steam cleaning for carpets, rugs, and upholstery to pull out the deep-seated allergens that settle into fabrics when ductwork is compromised.
It's basically a full top-to-bottom reset for the air quality of the house.
And if the absolute worst happens, say a pipe bursts or a severe storm hits, they are equipped for emergency water, storm, and fire restoration. They can be on-site in hours to stabilize the environment, extract the water, and prevent the kind of massive mold growth that destroys homes.
It is incredibly comprehensive. They really act as the ultimate guardians of a home's air quality and safety. And I think pulling all these threads together really highlights our main takeaway today. Sometimes the absolute simplest maintenance tasks, the things we ignore because they're literally hidden behind drywall, make the biggest possible impact on our daily life.
Absolutely.
Keeping your dryer vent clear and your air ducts clean isn't just a bullet point on a chore list. It is fundamentally about protecting the physical structure of your home, safeguarding the air your family breathes, and giving yourself total peace of mind.
It is the invisible foundation of a healthy living space. If the foundation is compromised, everything else struggles.
So to everyone listening, don't wait for the dryer to overheat or the AC to start smelling like a basement. Scheduling a professional inspection is a simple way to protect your home today with dryer vent cleaning services in Atlanta, GA. Grab your phone right now. Call the sponsor now, Dryer Vent Cleaning Services in Atlanta, GA. Call Metro Duct Cleaning LLC at 678-498-7371 or 404-800-1667. Get that free estimate and get the lungs of your home breathing right again.
You know, as we wrap this up, thinking about the home as having lungs raises an important question, something for everyone to really ponder after we sign off. We spend an immense amount of time, energy, and money optimizing our diets, tracking our sleep, and filtering our digital lives for toxicity. But how often do we stop to think about the invisible physical systems that surround us, literally breathing air into our most intimate spaces? If the very lungs of your home are compromised, what other invisible systems in your life are you overlooking?
That is a profound way to look at it. It really forces you to reconsider where you're putting your attention. Because when it comes down to it, what if one of the biggest risks in your home was hiding in a place you use every single day, your laundry room? It's time to stop letting it hide. Thanks for diving deep with us today.